Story. Introduction. U.A. Academy, the #1 high school in Japan, encouraging students to strive for academic excellence. The school encourages students to develop good character and global citizenship through action and service embedded in the rich and multifaceted co-curricular programs. Midoriya Izuku, the smartest and most successful student in the academy. Top in every subject and won first place in numerous competitions across the globe. Every teacher praises him for his accomplishment. Fixing his green vest, with a small sigh coming from his chilly mouth, he entered the lobby of the school, then through the hallways. It has been a week since the first day of school of this new year has started and Izuku was already getting prepared and learning new topics for the upcoming exams. Hey, Midoriya, a white red-headed guy waved at the boy, running towards him with a smile. Oh, good morning, Todoroki-kun, replied Izuku, flipping a page of his book. Todoroki Shoto, one of Izuku's close friends. A very shy guy but is very kind-hearted and nice when you get to know him. We'll watch over your dog if you're busy. Come on, the game just started. The others already saved us a seat, said Todoroki. Izuku nodded, putting his one finger in his lips, looking at a page in the book he's holding, muttering words. To be honest, Izuku isn't that kind of person interested in physical games. He just likes those which involves trivia, puzzles or card games. He doesn't know why he even bothered to go watch the game. And why does the school have to be involved in such thing? Entering the hall, the basketball game was full of shouting, squeaking shoes all over the court, whistling, screaming and just a lot of noises which Izuku can't stand. He unpleasantly looked at the players on the field. Don't they feel uncomfortable with all the sweat being covered in their bodies? And I can't believe they don't notice how they smell. How are they okay with that? Izuku just stared at them with disgust, following Todoroki from the back. As the two walked their way up the chairs, Izuku saw his other close friends. Hey, Midoriya and Todoroki are here. A loud voice came from the blue-haired guy with glasses, known as Iida. Iida Tenya, Class 1A's president and head boy. Even though Izuku is more successful than him, Izuku was supposed to be class president but gave up his position and handed it over to Iida because the guy said that it was too tiring for him to hold such responsibility. That's how the two became friends. Iida is like a father to his class. We'll text you to remind you to take your meds if you're sick. Hi, Todoroki-san, Midoriya-san, a voice that sounded so angelic appeared. She smiled sweetly at the two boys who were about to sit down. Yaoyaoruzu Momo, the class president assistant. A beautiful, wealthy, young lady who is almost the same position as Izuku, but just not that smart as him. Very kind and will always have your back whenever you feel down. Hi, Momo-san, Todoroki stuttered with a small blush flashed across his face. The two boys sat down, Todoroki watching the game, while Izuku still reading the book, not minding his surroundings at all. Good morning, Midoriya-chan, said a girl with the sound of a frog, sitting next to the green-haired Tsuyu Asui, also known as Izuku's childhood friend. They were classmates since middle school but they barely talked before unlike now she can kick anyone's ass anytime, anywhere. She can backfire any insults in an instant. We'll fight for you. Promoted stories. You'll also like A Hero's Love Desire. 3.6K62. It's almost Valentine's Day and Izuku Midoriya, Deku is starting to realize that he has a crush on Ochako Uraraka, but he doesn't know if she feels the same way. He tries. You again. 121K 3.8K. Katsuki Bakugo did not believe in fate, but when Ochako Uraraka burst into the 1A classroom with big news, he was forced to reconsider. And oh where Katsuki is 3e. A million reasons. Izwocha fanfic. Under. 70.3k 979. Ochako Uraraka and Izuku Midoriya have always had feelings for each other, but they never wanted to admit it. They have always wanted to find opportunities to tell each. Devotion Rightwards Two-Headed Arrow Katsuki Bakugo X Reader. 1.6 M47K. YN is a new student at UA High. She moved away with her dad a few years ago after her mom disappeared. While she lived here, her two friends Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki. Echoes of Obsession Yandere BNHAX Female R. 13K460. You, the reader, find yourself into the prestigious halls of UA High School, surrounded by a group of aspiring heroes who harbor an unsettling obsession with you. From Hikari. Open hollow corner bracket volume 2 Omake's close hollow corner bracket. 6.8k 195. Blank, underscore, blank, and quat. This is the story of how we all became the greatest heroes, and quat. Blank, underscore, blank. The 1 tilde Todoroki X reader, check mark. 771k 22.4k and quat. It's just, and quat. Her eyes were brimming with tears. No, please don't cry, I silently begged, I can't stand to see you hurt. And quat, I don't want to see any of. Ah, good morning, Suyu-chan, responded Izuku, never leaving his eyes off the book. Suyu looks over to the book and then back to Izuku. Why are you reading at this time? She asked, putting her legs in a cross. Izuku looks over to her. You know me, he raised an eyebrow with his eyes closed along with a smile. Always have to prepare for exams. Exams doesn't start in 3 months, she tilted her head. Exactly, he told, looking away to his book again. That's why I have to be prepared. Suyu hummed in response, not minding him anymore. The whole time, Izuku feels so irritated with all the loud sounds around him, that made him unable to concentrate that well. His eyes twitch, whenever the whistle is blown. He groaned in annoyance. Midoriya, Todoroki called. What? Come on, stop being such a fun killer, and enjoy the game, Todoroki said, closing his book. Izuku widened his eyes. Wait, I'm not done. He raised his voice, trying to retrieve back the page he lost, but the book was soon taken away from the man. He looked at Izuku with a playful face. Just this time, just watch the game and after that you can enjoy your studying. But Izuku then glared at the dude and slowly let out a sigh. Fine, but I'm not gonna enjoy this. Todoroki nodded. It's okay, as long as you're watching with us. He looked down at the court, seeing the players running around. He stared at them with a bored look on his face. He then looked over at the time and there were only 30 seconds left until the second quarter will end. The second quarter is almost done. That means there will be halftime after that time. So that means, I get to read immediately for a long 30 minutes. The boy thought with excitement. 30 minutes is enough for him, and after that, maybe he could escape while his friends are busy eating. This was Izuku's first time watching a basketball game. Usually, when there's one, he never bothered to attend and told them that he better use his time in studying new topics on his own instead of wasting it in watching boring people running on the court over some ball. He was right, this was a waste of his time. He brought his book to entertain himself, but it was too late since it was taken. He should have brought an extra one. After a long 30 seconds, the loud buzzer blew and it was ready for the 30 minutes break for the players. Iida stretched with a yawn coming out of his mouth. It's finally half time, my butt is killing me. Todoroki let out a small laugh. Come on, let's get something to eat. Sure, Izuku agreed, and after that, I'll run outside of the gates freely away from this madness. What would you like, Midoriya? Asked Iida standing up next to Todoroki. What? The freckled boy asked in confusion. What would you like to eat? Todoroki repeated Iida's question. What do you mean? Aren't we just gonna eat together outside the cafeteria? No, it'll be me who will order because after half time, people will try to snatch the other people's seats which used to be theirs, Iida told. And that's why we need people to guard it. See, can I just come along with you? Izuku tried to convince him. No, can do. Suyu and Momo needs to go to the cheerleading squad for their performance later and Todoroki is in charge of the drinks so that makes you our bodyguard. He laughed a bit. If I were to replace Todoroki, that means that I can't escape because of the damn drinks. And of course, I can't go to the cheerleaders. And I have to guard the seats, so that's another way of no escaping. It's impossible, he sighed in frustration looking down. I'll just have hot black coffee. Geez, man, what's wrong with your taste? Todoroki asked, already going down. At least I'm still smarter than you, he boasted himself. Todoroki rolled his eyes with a smile in return. Izuku smiled a bit. At least he left me with my book, he sighed in relief, opening his book, reading more of its contents. After 10 minutes, the boys arrived with the food and beverages. Phew, we're just in time, Todoroki said with a pant. Iida nodded. In time for what? Izuku asked. But before Todoroki could answer, the lights became a bit dim, along with flashing colorful lights shone all over the place. The hall immediately was full of men screaming on top of their lungs, shouting names. Izuku followed where they were looking at and saw a bunch of cheerleaders entering the hall. Introducing the fresh and new UA's cheerleading squad, said one of the girls in the group, raising one of her pom-poms. All the boys screamed even louder, louder than the game just now, which of course was only filled with girls that time. Suddenly a certain name was being shouted from all over the place, including around Izuku. Go, Ochako, I love you, Ochako. Please marry me, Ochako, you're so cute. Ochako. All the boys around him kept screaming that girl's name. Is it the one who introduced the squad? That brunette in the middle. Go, Momo. Go, Suyu. The two boys between Izuku screamed. Due to Izuku's curiosity, he asked Todoroki. Todoroki-kun, who is Ochako? Ah, Uraraka Ochako. She's the new student that recently moved in our class. You never knew. The boy in the green vest shook his head. Maybe I wasn't there that time or something. He then gazed back to the girl, Ochako. That girl became famous and is well known for the boys in this school, he clarified. Ah, okay, I get it, he responded. Uraraka Ochako, the new transferred student in UA Academy. She immediately became famous due to her cute and charming appearance that all boys would die for. Now, she has become the school's heartthrob and became cheerleader captain. She's those types of girls who gets all the love letters in her shoe locker every morning. The brown-haired lady walked over the court, happily. Now, we have a very special performance for all of you. Enjoy. She then chuckled through the microphone with a small cute wink on her face. The hall became crazy with all the screams. Manly screams. Izuku, too, was surprised. He felt his heart thumping a bit and sudden blush came across his face. He furrowed his eyes and shook his head. What the? He muttered. He then continued to watch the performance, or rather the girl. 1, 2, 3 and, after Ochako said those, the girls began their cute cheerleading performance that made the crowd go wild. Suyu and Momo were there as well, and some other girls who were also in Izuku's class. The performance was just the girls dancing in sync with the music playing. It was quite impressive, Izuku thought. There were flips and jumps everywhere on the court. It was really difficult to pull off those kinds of moves, but this cheerleading squad were legends. Some guys were just peeking under their skirts whenever they jump or do a flip, or raise their legs really high. It gave the boys nosebleeds by just looking at it. Izuku tried his best not to follow those perverts and focused on their faces only with all his might. When the performance ended, the crowd continued to cheer and Izuku was clapping as well with the outstanding performance. Todoroki noticed it and nudged him on the side. Oh, impressed. Izuku gave him a bored look. He felt embarrassed that he did found that entertaining. Yeah, I guess. It's fine. It's natural for boys to like it and you are one anyway, he said playfully. It made Izuku rolled his eyes. Bye. See you all in the semis. Ochako said out loud before taking the leave with the other cheerleaders. No, don't go, Ochako. Man, I want to see her in that cheerleading suit more. Izuku glanced at the boys who were babbling those next to him. Man, she is that popular, he said under his breath. After the game ended, UA Academy has won against the other school. Izuku was just staring at their win of the team. The person who was in the middle was shouting in victory. It was a yellow spiky-haired fierce man who was screaming. Bakugo Katsuki, UA's #1 basketball star player. He has won many basketball tournaments and kept his championship position for the past years. He was MVP in all games as well. He can be bossy a lot of times and has a huge pride around him. And Izuku knows him well. He looked at Bakugo with slight anger. He doesn't really like his attitude and he sometimes have that uneasy feeling whenever he's around that guy. He feels like Bakugo hates him or something. Next to him was a friend of his. He is also his teammate and Bakugo's most closest friend. A red-headed boy that his smile is the one thing that humankind has to protect. The name was Kirishima Eijiro. A very friendly person who is everyone's friend. Unlike Bakugo, he was the total opposite and it was odd for him to be friends with a guy like him, the guy that looked like he didn't want any friends. He is a very carefree person and is the most optimistic person in the class who always puts a smile on people's faces. Izuku, too, was friends with that guy. Let's go, Midoriya, the game is over, Todoroki talked, standing up. Wanna go somewhere? Momo asked the group. Suyu responded, sure, let's go to karaoke or something, she suggested with a smile. Izuku shook his head back. Sorry, I'll pass, Todoroki said after this, I can have my time to study. Yeah, but you did enjoy the game, right? Todoroki said. After a while, you were watching the entire thing. In fact, it all started with the performance, he winked at him. Haha, funny, he said in a sarcastic tone. Well, I'll be going now, have fun. His friends bid him goodbye before Izuku left the hall. He started opening his book, finding the page that he was on just now. Now, where was Iagao? He suddenly got bumped into someone and almost fell down. But the person that he bumped into was on the floor. Ow, she whimpered. Izuku widened his eyes when he saw her. Oh Ochako, he muttered under his breath. He then shook his head and immediately reached his hand out. I'm so sorry. The girl let out a small chuckle. It's all right. She politely grabbed his hand and helped her up. Better watch out next time, okay? Or else you'll end up like me. She then gave a sweet smile at the end. She then brushed off the dust around her uniform. He then laughed awkwardly, scratching the back of his neck. Why yeah, okay, then, I have to go now, see you. She gave a quick wave at him and left him. Izuku looked back at Ochako's back. He doesn't know why, but he suddenly felt a chill in his spine when she smiled at him like that. Especially in front of him. What the hell is wrong with me? Suddenly, came to his sight were scary glares of another's eyes across the hall, towards him. He looked at Izuku with an angry look on his face, again. Izuku furrowed his eyebrows. Why is Bakugo looking at me like that? He said to himself. After Bakugo passed by him, he then shrugged it off and went out of the academy. Izuku then said to himself once again. Finally, tomorrow, the day going to school for real lessons, he made his hand into fist in front of chest with his eyes sparkling. After that, he took off back home. And the next day, will be the real beginning of the love stories in UA Academy. Now I apologize for such a long chapter and that I suddenly published a story anime related. But after a while of watching anime, it made me so addicted that I have the urge to make such story like this. Anyways, I hope you like this chapter, ha 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 ha. I also want to apologize for my lack of writing, grammar and vocabulary, but I hope next time I'll get used to it again like before, smiley face. See you in the next chapter, lovies tilde tilde. Where stories live, discover now.